Hey everybody, I'm Meltdown. What you're about to see and hear is my conversation with emerging rock band Frame 42. They brought along famed producer Toby Wright, who's worked with them for years. We talk about their upcoming EP, which is dropping this summer, as well as their gig up in Frankenmuth for Greta Van Fleet's pre-release party this coming July. That and much, much more on this episode of Talkin' Rock with Frame 42 and Toby Wright, starting now.
Got to welcome the guys from Frame 42 here. How you guys doing?
We're great. Thank you for having us.
Good. Let's go through and introduce everybody. So go ahead.
So I'm Ben. I'm the rhythm guitarist.
I'm Lucas. I'm the drummer.
I'm Brock. I'm the bass player.
And I'm Ava, and I'm the singer.
And who's this guy right here?
And this is Toby Wright, our producer.
The Toby Wright.
How are you
Lord
guys?
I think we should give Toby
Wright.
a little round of applause there. How long you guys been working with Toby?
3 years.
3 years.
I want to say 3. That's what I was gonna say.
Is it pre-pandemic? I mean, that's
It
was
that's how we do the time nowadays.
Yeah.
Just barely, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we started pre-pro right before the pandemic.
Yeah, I was about
and
to say.
working
it was
on
like
songs.
right when it started, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because we were in the studio, December 2020.
Yeah, we were in pre-pro through
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
right before. Now, where was
Yeah.
that at? Was that in California?
No, that was out here.
Oh, it was out here.
That
Okay.
That
out
was
here.
right at Temper Mill.
Yeah,
Right.
that was
That's
episode
right.
right.
That's right. Yeah, you came. You're like have producer will travel.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
You will go
It's
wherever.
easier for me to travel as one than it is for 5 or 6 or 8 or people to travel. You know?
Now, when you go into somebody else's studio, I know you mixed a show the other night, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But when you go into somebody else's studio, what is that like? Is it like trying to drive a new car, or how does that work?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to get used to everything that they've set out. And,
Right.
If it's a professional studio, then it's a little easier because they're usually set up for outside people to come in.
Mm-hmm.
They're set up in a very generic way. And so, but if it's a home studio or somebody's private studio, then it's usually set up just for them.
Right.
So I have to kind of work with what they've set up and, maybe augment a few things here and there and, go from there.
Now, the other night you actually mixed the sound for these guys. Is that something you normally do in live shows? I mean, have you done that a lot in your life, or did you start out doing that?
I've done that quite a bit.
Oh, you have? Okay.
And I love, mixing these guys. They're a lot of fun. And,
Yeah.
pretty much I'm the only one besides them that know their music so intimately right now.
Right.
So I thought it was a good idea to step in and have a little fun.
I wasn't sure if you did the live thing or you just did the studio thing or however that works. But the band sounded great the other night. So guys, tell me about the show up at the world famous Machine Shop. That's the second time you guys played there, right?
Second
It's
or
actually the
third?
4th.
Oh, fourth.
Fourth.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm way off.
Yeah, we had 2 last year with a couple of local bands, and then we did our third one with Saving Abel when they came through.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
last
that
year.
was cool.
And then, this is our 4th time being back there, and after 8 months of not doing anything, it's definitely good to.
That was your
finally
first
get
show in
back.
8 months?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been
Writing
started from
and
scratch in like June-ish or July, writing new songs, and then didn't come out of the studio till May 19th
Yeah,
when
we
they
were
were ready.
October through May. We were in the recording, kind of working the new
Mixing.
songs process. So
Yeah, but it went, I don't think it could have gone better. It was so cool to see everybody come out and a lot of people that we know, and you were there, Tony and Maggie were there.
Yeah, they're great people, yeah.
Yeah, it was just amazing.
And, of course, Kevin, who owns the place. Now, how many shows do you have to play at the Machine Shop to get a free shirt?
we'll tell you when we get ours, because we're not there yet.
I haven't gotten mine either. I don't know. What's going on with this? No, what a great place to play. So when you guys are writing your songs and stuff, how much of this guy's help do you look for as far as the songs? Do you help them to write the writing process, or yeah?
Help writing and arranging.
Yeah.
But then ultimately I leave everything up to them with suggestions.
Uh-huh.
This might be better if we did it like this, but you guys check it out. And then, they try it out. We get into the pre-production phase and we try it out to see if, my theory is that if you can't play it correctly, then you're never going to be able to judge it correctly.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't judge it before you actually try it, because then you know if it's, you or it's good or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's how we kind of work, from the beginning, so that they have an idea of how, different places can take you, and then they can decide for themselves whether they like it or it's Frame 42 or not.
I interview so many bands. I talked to so many bands about recording. I was just telling you, I talked to Zachy from Avenged Sevenfold the other day. Those guys haven't put a new record out in like 5 years, so they've been working on it for a long time. But some of these bands mention like a riff junkyard, I think James Hetfield once called it, where he makes these riffs and he puts them away for other times.
Right.
Do you have that kind of stuff even with these guys?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They have lots of riffs that they come up with, and I've been known to dig through them and go, oh, there's one. There's our chorus for this song we're working
really?
on. Oh yeah.
There's
And so
definitely,
and there's a few songs that are kicking around right now that we can make more songs with, but
Yeah.
they just didn't make the cut this time because we had much better material faster.
And by the way, we should mention that Michael's not here. I don't want to forget
No,
him. So.
Michael couldn't make it today, but he's here in spirit.
In spirit.
That's right.
Yeah, he was fantastic the other night, along with all you guys. I mean, it was a really good show. I was impressed, and Toby, maybe you can speak to this as well about how well they play. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've worked with grizzled veterans and stuff. These are just kids.
Well, I wouldn't call them kids. But
Well,
they're
I
young
have socks
adults.
older than most of these guys. I'll tell you that. much.
Yes, you're right. You're right. They are babies compared to most that I've worked with.
Right.
But they're quite talented. I mean, I've been quoted as saying that they're probably one of the best and most talented bands that I've ever worked with, and I think that's absolutely the truth.
Wow.
Thank you.
They really, really, I've asked, certain members to, dig down a little deeper for me, would you please? Because that, it sounds okay, it'll pass, but let's get into your musicality and really dig deeper. And they've risen to the occasion every time, which I'm very proud of.
And you guys, when you hear a legendary producer and mixer such as Toby telling you guys to dig deeper, I mean, talk about that. Like maybe even as a guitar player, is he? How does this process work?
He definitely has this, ability to push you to your, you may not see your limit. Like it might be a lot less than what you think. Okay, I'm getting messed up.
Your true potential. Toby sees
He
your
pushes
potential,
past
for
you, pushes you out of your comfort.
Your comfort zone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava, with vocals, I've heard Brent Smith was telling me, "Fly from the Inside." That first scream, he said he did it all day long. Like that, just that one line, and the producer kept making him do it. Kept making it. Rob Halford's told me the same thing about some of the stuff. Is he like that?
Well, I know there was one instance that sticks out to me when we were recording Roses, which is a song on the upcoming album. And we had the night before recorded it. We had chopped it up, and we were gonna, what's it called?
Comping?
Comp it.
Yeah.
Comp it in the morning. And then so we get to comping, and I'm listening to him. I'm like, Toby, we're going to have to redo the verse. It's so bad. And he's like, well, let's just listen through the chorus and see what you think. I'm like, Toby, the chorus is bad too. We got to redo this whole thing. But I think it did. We redid it, recomped it, and I think that's the best performance that we were able to get for Roses, definitely.
And sometimes you got to put things away. At a certain point, you got to say this is done. But where that point is, I guess, is subjective to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you might do something, then go back the next day, like you're saying, yeah, I don't like this as much as I thought I did last night.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, guitar solos and singers and, all that kind of stuff, drummers too. They just I could do that better. Let me give it another shot. And,
Yeah.
You'd be silly as a producer not to, because I trust my artists. And every time that Davis told me that she can do it better, she does. Mm-hmm. So she has a perfect track record in doing that. And so there's no reason I would never, I wouldn't trust her to do that again,
Now, where do you guys get your musicality from? What influenced you to get into music? I'll start with you.
So I guess mine started from the mainstream big rock bands. I listened to a lot of Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith, and the big names like Slash and Joe Perry were pretty much what really kind of put the label cool on being a guitar player when I was in the 4th grade or something. And then so that pretty much just lit up this path of rock and roll that I went down, and I kind of expand my listening horizon, and I found Metallica, and that was a huge one as I really got into my guitar playing. And so pretty much from there it was just building this list of names that I just draw inspiration from, and a lot of them are those big 80s metal bands.
Yeah, so, you know what, Toby, and you could probably appreciate this. I'm a little bit jealous of some of these guys because they get to discover some of the stuff that we've already gotten burned out on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Lucas, what do you say? What turns you on to music?
ADHD as a child. I
Yeah.
mean, I was just
You
like
cannot sit
literally
still.
banging on the table.
Oh, is that right?
constantly. So yeah, my grandma took me to my first drum lesson when I was 6.
No kidding.
Yeah, like literally half a mile from where we practice now with the same girl actually. So yeah, but I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of classic rock, you know, Eagles, Foreigner, Journey, like with my parents and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, speaking of parents, so
much
you
it.
guys are brother and sister, and I'm sure your parents, did they you grew up in a musical household?
Well, they
Well,
like music,
yeah.
but they don't really play. My dad plays drums a little bit.
Yeah.
He was in a band with some of his friends, but that's as far as the talent really goes on our side.
Yeah, but at least like in terms of listening to music, it was always like rock going
Yeah.
on in the house, so we were always exposed to it.
Now, what
Totally.
makes a guy pick up a bass? Because that's like, that's he's not like the main guy in the band, right? But I mean, I'm a bass guy. I always can zoom in on the bass, and you were really good the other night. So why do you pick up a bass?
To be honest, it's just because my mom was like, "Hey," like, because I didn't really have too many hobbies when I was younger. Because I would race karts, and then I stopped doing that after a while. But then it was like, my mom was like, "You need to do something," and so I went to Guitar Center with my dad, and she's like, "You should look at some bass guitars." I don't know why bass guitars or anything else. It was just bass guitars, and so I looked at them. And then a Guitar Center employee taught me another one bites the dust, and then
There you go.
The
yeah,
rest is history.
got a Squire and came home and
That should be like the sign on the wall, like no stairway and no another one bites the dust for the
Yeah.
for the bass
Right,
player.
yeah.
No, that's great. So so who got into music first?
I did. I got into music because when I was in kindergarten, my parents won a pink guitar at the school auction. So then we immediately started taking guitar lessons, and I ended up going to the same music teacher that Lucas went to, Deb Barber in Lapeer. And then I remember after my guitar lessons, I'd come home, "Brock, take this guitar, put your finger on this string, and try to strum it." He's like, "I want to go outside. It's summer."
Yeah, there was this Epiphone / signature Les Paul that Ava had. And I remember very specifically her trying to teach me a D chord for like an hour. And I just couldn't get it. And I was
like,
like,
"It's
"That's
not that
That one's a
hard."
Yeah.
stinker, huh?
yeah. And I still play it weird. Still play it weird.
That's
By the way, did
partially
you get
mine.
that hat for free? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
No,
I
we
get
didn't.
one. Every time we play, I get a new machine shop.
There you
hat
go.
Every time we go there.
Yeah, they got some great stuff there.
Oh,
We could talk
yeah.
about the machine shop all
Great
day long. But
merch.
so Toby, so at this stage in your career and stuff, you've worked with all these legends. People. You've worked with stuff. That I've played on the radio hundreds of times. What is it like to work with an unknown band like this, especially young kids?
I think it's fabulous, especially with the commitment that they have, to being this is their career.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby for them; it's a career. And I really, really, am proud of them for taking that path, right? So I'll help them however much I can, until they outgrow me, and so on and so forth. But I think we have a long road to go, and I really, really love working with young musicians and developing their talent as best as they will let me, right? Because it's only it's up to them. I can only guide them into where they go, and from there it's up to them to keep practicing, keep going, etc.
Yeah, everything in music is so subjectable, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like but I guess in a way they have to trust your ears and your sense.
True.
Yeah.
But I also have to trust theirs,
Right.
like I said earlier about like with Ava, for instance. I have to trust that she knows that she can do that better. And so I have to spend that time and invest that time to let her do that. Right. I can't ever shut her down and go, "You can't do that any better. I'm out of here."
Yeah, right.
And that's silly. You know what I mean? So people.
Well,
that-
if she says she's going to do it better, I'm imagining there's part of you that says, "Oh, I want to see this."
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. Because like I said before, her track record is 100%.
Right.
So that why wouldn't I? And maybe she's got something a different approach in mind, or something like that for the next time she tries something, or with drums, or with bass, or with guitars. It's all, if they're really dug in about I can do this better, then why wouldn't you let them?
Right.
Right. Because you always keep your the initial recording. You never get rid of that just in case, and then let them go at it.
Yeah, you get one that you like, I suppose, and then you try to better it, and if it doesn't, then at least you got that one.
Right, exactly.
So you guys have an EP coming out, is that correct? So
Yes.
do you know any details about that? Or are you allowed to talk? I don't know what you're...
We can say it's coming out in early summer.
Okay.
And it's going to have 5 songs on it.
Okay, 5 songs. All right, so what other songs did you play? How many did you play the other night? No, how many songs from the 5?
We did play
I gotta
12
think.
songs. That is
We might have played all
you
of
play-
them.
okay.
We did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to think about what's on it, to be honest.
We
You
have
want me to write
12
it down for
songs
you?
on our file.
We played all 5 of them.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, you did.
We did.
Yeah, how much did you guys rehearse for that show the other night?
Oh, a
About a
lot.
4 hours a day for
For
3 weeks.
A month, yeah. 3
yeah, a
weeks.
month.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you haven't played for 8 months, you said, huh?
Right, because
Wow.
yeah, we were in the studio, and then and you'd think we've been playing these songs for like 2 months recording, we should be good. No, it was not tight at all. The first time we rehearsed, and we were like, oh, we got a lot of work to
Well,
do.
because the last time we played them together was when we tracked the drums in December.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
I took 5 days. And
Yep.
they,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how long did the whole thing take?
Till March.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now you guys, you got the EP coming out. You mentioned Foreigners. You guys are playing a show with Lou Graham coming up, huh?
Yeah, Sunday in Coleman, Michigan, United by Sacrifice.
And that's Memorial Day weekend, if everyone's
yes,
listening
Yep.
after
Memorial Day. Yes.
this. Yeah.
Right?
No, Memorial Day is
Monday.
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 Scratch that.
Well, that'll be cool to meet Lou Graham. I mean, legendary guy like that.
Yeah.
Is that the same place where you guys played with Skid Row last year, the outdoor thing?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always amazing. We love it there, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
And then you're going to head up to Frankenmuth later on this summer. Talk about that.
Yeah, July 15th, Greta Van Fleet's pre-album release party in Frankenmuth. We're opening for Papa Kiska's band.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be super fun, and we're hoping to make a lot of friends.
You know, I moved to Detroit in the mid-'90s, and when I first got my job here, I thought to myself, well, that's where they build all the cars, and I'm a big 3 guy, you know? And then I got here, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's all these bands that come out of this area. And to this day, you know, since I've been here, you know, Kid Rock and Eminem and the White Stripes and Greta and I Prevail, and I mean, the list just goes on and on. There's something in the water here in the Midwest, isn't there?
I think so, yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty. It's pretty decent, you know. It's like, and it goes back, you know, to Nugent and you
Right,
know,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
into the
Alice and
60s,
Seeger and all them, yeah.
You know, and so yeah, the talent is great.
Yeah, so you guys are the up-and-coming Michiganders here, I guess, right?
We hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
I don't know if we can say that.
It might be a little arrogant for us to say, but
You can say
everyone else is
You
welcome
can say
to.
it all day.
I'll tell you what, the show the other night was fantastic, and I'm glad I made the trip up there because, you know, coming from here to there, it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a hike, but it was really good. I was really impressed. I saw you guys a little bit last time with Skid Row, but I was kind of with those guys a little bit, so I didn't really get to watch the whole show. And I think you guys did some more covers last time. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had at that time only like 20 minutes of covers,
Yeah.
and so now we have an hour and 10 minutes. Oh
Of
wait,
originals.
no,
Originals.
20 minutes of
20 minutes of
originals.
originals.
Now
There
we
you
have
go.
about an hour and 10 minutes of originals. So we're ready to, and if we were itching to just be able to play our own music for longer sets because we didn't have too many at the time, and now it's time. I think you know, our set on Sunday's an hour 20, an hour and a half. So
It
we only-
is?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite an opening set.
It is.
Surprised me.
but we only had to slip in 2 or 3 covers, so we're really happy about that, and to share our original
Yeah,
music.
did you guys do a Starship cover or something? Or
We
what did you-
did Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, yeah, Jefferson Airplane. Okay.
White Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the Starship and the airplane confused.
It's
I
all
don't
the
get it.
same. It's all the same.
Just don't play We Built This City on Rock and Roll.
Right.
That's the worst song. I don't know. So, what are your guys' future goals here? What are you guys looking to do?
Oh, well, hopefully, ideally, you know, Grammys are always incredible. Toby
Yeah.
knows something about that.
Something, yeah.
How many Grammys you have?
I have 3.
3. Wow. For what?
Metallica, 3 Doors Down, and no Alice because they were the most nominated band, but never won one. on my tenure anyway.
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
We'll have to look it up on Wikipedia.
One Headlight with Jacob Dylan.
Oh yeah.
That was the first one.
Wow. Yeah, I was at I've been to the Grammys twice. It's quite an experience to go see all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just interviewed Ian Anderson the other day.
Oh, nice.
Of course, he had that famous metal Grammy he won in 1989, beat out Metallica. That was the record you helped work on.
That was.
Yeah. These guys probably don't know what we're talking about, but they started the Grammys. They had the metal category, and Jethro Tull wins. It's like, wait a second. That was.
And they haven't had a record out in years.
Yeah.
And when that happened.
And then when Metallica won their next Grammy, they said, we got to thank Jethro Tull for not putting out a record.
Right.
That was sweet.
Well, anything else you guys want to plug here to wrap things up? Anything we should know about? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all under Frame 42 Band.
Where's the name come from, by the way?
Frame 42?
Yeah.
Well, 42 is just a lucky number, just more specifically with Michael's family. So we wanted to incorporate that to bring kind of some good vibes. And then Frame is just like the framework of it. I'm not too good at explaining the frame part. You did it because he read the book of
What's it?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I'm sorry.
Brain
So
fart.
42 is like a big thing in that book. It's like the meaning of life in the universe and everything. And so, 42.
Okay. Well, I interrupt you, so you're plugging your socials. So.
Oh, yes. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all under Frame 42 Band. We have a website, frame42.com. And we have 2 songs out wherever you listen to music, Thicker Than Blood and Ramona.
We just put out our lyric video for Ramona.
Yeah, what's
Yes.
that? What's Ramona about?
Oh, Ramona's about a little girl that I was friends with in kindergarten. Well, it's inspired by her, just because she was really spunky and energetic and vibrant, and she was nice to me, but not too much to other people. She used to bite people. She wouldn't bite me, though, so I was like, I'll be your friend. But it's just kind of about opening up to people that you love and trust, and just being a free spirit, happy-go-lucky. It's just kind of a fun song.
Are you the main lyricist?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do they bring melodies to you, or do you bring to them, or?
Sometimes they'll chip in, but usually once they get a good groove or chord progression, I'll kind of run off somewhere by myself and come up with a good melody and some gibberish and bring it back to them.
Yeah, the Zachy Vengeance mentioned something to me the other day that actually Shadows had talked about that, and you've probably seen this in your career too, where they don't just go into a room and record or write. They kind of try to bring all their ideas into the room, because you don't want to have that forced creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've talked to a lot of bands, though. They're like, yeah, we just get together and jam or whatever,
Right.
But is that what you guys do? How do you guys?
Well, it's kind of fun because sometimes it's like that, and then sometimes it does, like, some person will just start playing this random riff that just popped in their head, and then another person will be like, well, that's really cool.
It goes with my riff.
And then
thing.
we've had like songs that come together just like that. Like,
Yeah.
Like the energy's good and it's just everything's really meshing together really well. But then there's times where you are forcing it and everyone's just sitting there staring at each other like for an hour and just playing the same thing, and it's like, this is going nowhere. Like nothing is happening right now.
That's when you got to take a break, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, 2 times during recording, I had to totally change the lyrics to the songs, and it's like, because it's like, dig deeper. This isn't good. Do something better. Toby didn't say it verbatim, but I knew what he meant. So I would kind of drive around and try to find the right character who would. The right words, and but finally we got it out. Just some of the songs are
there were a few
hard.
songs that are just like where is this going? What can we do with this? Because it's not there and we know it's not there yet, but what do we do? And it's just we've gone in circles, like, you know, okay, let's come back to this later, and then we come back, and then it's like we're going nowhere.
Right.
We'll put a pin in
Scrap
it,
it.
come back later, and then it's just like
Yeah,
4
there are
times.
songs that,
Yeah.
that probably just write themselves, like you've probably seen before.
Absolutely.
And then, like, you know, Brent Smith there, Leave a Whisper, turns 20 this week, and I was telling about my track by track. He said their song 45 they wrote in 30 minutes, and it's become,
Yep.
you know, staple in their set and their career.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
You know, and then there's other songs that probably took them a lot longer and hadn't gone as far.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know.
It's interesting that some of them just fall out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had a couple that just fell out.
Yeah.
You know,
Ramona, I think, was one.
Ramona
Ramona
just fell out.
Yeah.
It was done in an hour or something like that.
Like a
They-
gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it might not have been, with all the words and or melody, but the track was definitely there. And I was like, that's going on the record. I really like that one.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
you just keep them creative, and that's the main thing. You just keep the creativity going, and if you get stuck, move on. Put that one aside, like Ben said, put a pin in it and move along.
Yeah.
And then come back to it later. If there is a later, maybe you don't need that song. Maybe you've fulfilled your quota and you're on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's good that you guys had this guy to fall back on because he's,
Yeah.
he hears things probably differently than other people do.
It's
Oh, yeah.
impressive. It's amazed me how fine his ear is, and I'm just like,
What?
Well, like,
Well, you say stuff like, play that again.
right? Well, like
that
I'll
3
admit
times in a
my
row.
Is that a
ear
dog
is
whistle?
not that great. So like people hear things, I'm just like, play it again. And I did not hear that, and then it's like, I don't know. I'll trust you because I know like your ear is definitely better than mine. So
I think it was James or Lars from Metallica, and I think Kirk was doing the Enter Sandman riff, and one of them said, "Do that again and again." And
Right.
it's like that's the stuff just kind of pops up in the studio.
right, exactly. And that that's a hook too. You know what I mean? You make them repeat a hook because in music that seems to be the thing that people glom onto.
Right.
And they just attach themselves to that hook. And that's popular music. I don't want to say pop music, but it's popular music.
Right.
Well,
I want to thank you guys for coming to the studio. A great show last Friday night, and
Thank you.
have Toby one time tell you about the bass on "And Justice for All" records.
I think we've been there before.
it's
I
always
was a
a
little
fun
worried
story.
when we started working with it.
You're gonna lose
Somebody
your
picked
job.
the wrong
And on that
instrument.
note, we should close it down. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
thank you, Meltdown.